I'm Tara, and today we're talking about anything but new releases. These are all fragrances that were released 10 or more years ago, a lot from the early 2000s, 90s, some from like a long time ago. Most of these are discontinued, like almost all of them, or I have like an old version of them, even if they're not discontinued. So we're gonna get started. I think I'm gonna talk about them in chronological order, going from like most recent to like the oldest in terms of their release date. So let's go ahead and get started. By the way, you cannot see my super cute t-shirt because I'm cut off, but look here, it says, "Be kind." Anyway, all right, so the first one I want to talk about is one that I literally cannot understand why they discontinued this fragrance. It's true for most of these, but this one comes from the house of Chloe, and it is Love Chloe Intense. So not the regular, but the intense version. This was released in 2011, and my bottle is leaking, so I'm gonna have to seal it after we do this to make sure that I don't lose too much. This is a bottle that I picked up secondhand because you can't get it anymore. And most of these go for way too much money. Like, I got this for a decent price, but a lot of people are asking stupid amounts of money for these. I'm not sure if I would pay it, although it's a beautiful fragrance. So Love Chloe was created by Louise Turner and Natalie Graciosetto, I believe, and you probably would guess I would really enjoy this fragrance if you know that I'm an iris lover, because here, although I think I get heliotrope more, it's like a bit powdery. I get the heliotrope and iris. I think some lilac maybe, kind of smells like lilac bushes to me. I don't know, maybe it's some other types of florals, but lots of beautiful purple florals, like fluffy purple florals. Maybe a touch of vanilla, some white musk, I think. I'm not sure exactly what else, but it's beautiful. This is an absolutely beautiful fragrance. When I got this, it was leaking when it came in the mail. I didn't really complain because, again, the price was fair compared to what most people were asking, but I could smell it right away. And it does linger. Like, I got a little bit on my skin when I first was unpacking it, and it lingered all day. So I can't wait to wear this some. Like I said, I do need to kind of seal it up. I might decant into something else and then seal this so that I don't lose very much. But wow, that's just absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't tried this before and you do come across it, maybe for a good price, or you can get a decant of it, I would recommend it if you are an iris and heliotrope lover like I am, because this is absolutely gorgeous and probably one of my favorite things I've tried from Chloe, period. So it'd be nice if they brought that back, but it's discontinued. All right, the next one, we're gonna go back about 5 more years. This was released in 2006, and it's from Thierry Mugler. This is Angel La Rosée. So this is a 25 milliliter bottle. I think they sold refills for this too, like they did for, or they maybe still do, for most of their fragrances. But this is supposed to be a rosy take on Angel. And I will say, like, all of these I've sprayed when I first got them, but I haven't worn fully all of them, although did I wear this one? I think I wore this one and the next one I'm gonna talk about already. But this is absolutely exactly what you'd expect. It smells like Angel. So, you know, I definitely get the sort of patchouli right away. You get the chocolate, you get plum, some vanilla, caramel, that kind of thing. Like, you get that gourmand sweetness from it. But then I get like a little bit of like a bright, maybe pink pepper, something that brightens it up with the rose, and it is gorgeous. Yeah, the rose pink pepper sort of thing kind of stands out. But definitely this is Angel. Like, you can tell right away this is Angel, and it is like the older Angel, as you might expect. I think these were maybe limited edition when they came out, so I'm not really sure that they ran very long. So there's a possibility that this bottle came from around 2006. But maybe they did. I don't know for sure, because I didn't really like Angel when I was younger. I was into Alien right away when that came out, but before Alien came out, I just wasn't really interested in this house because I didn't care for the original Angel when I was young. But now I like it, and this is fantastic. So that is the Angel La Rosée, and I got this for like not a terrible price either. So it's out there. It can be found if you are interested in this. However, it is very much like Angel, so maybe you don't need it if you have Angel. And if you don't like Angel, don't get it, because that's what it smells like. Anyway, that was Olivier Cresp, I think I forgot to say, who created that one. And then Francois Caron created this next one, again from Thierry Mugler. This one came out, I think, a year before in 2005, and this is the Violet version. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it just says Violet Angel, Violet Angel. So again, same idea is that it's basically Angel, but with like this more dominant note of violet. And this one veers off from the original Angel for me quite a bit more. I noticed that right away when I sprayed this, like the rose one. It was like, oh, this is definitely an Angel flanker. This one, like when you know it's an Angel flanker, you're like, yes, I can pick out that patchouli. I can pick out, you know, maybe some vanilla in it. I would say this one though, I think this one's supposed to have oak moss in it. And it's a little bit woody, but yes, there is a lot of like a sugared violet, like a candied violet vibe to this. It's like the candied violet patchouli sort of vanilla thing, and a hint of woods. That's what I get from this. So doesn't right away smack me in the face of Angel, but yeah, the patchouli is definitely the same patchouli that's in Angel. Still smells really nice. I like the rose one more, but this is really good too. And I think if you are a violet lover, you probably would like this. So yeah, that's another good one from Mugler before they were bought out, of course. And again, I found that for a decent price. So it's out there, it's available. All right, going back just one more year again, this is from 2004, and this is a flanker, another flanker. This is Givenchy Ysatis Iris. And my mom wore the original Ysatis, and I, you know, remember her wearing that quite a bit, but I never ever smelled the Iris version before. And I saw this, I got this from Enchanté Perfumes, I think is the name of their store. I found out about that store from Eugen from You Smells Good. He did a live. I'll link, if I can find that live, I'll link that video, but in general, I'll link his channel. This is really nice. But anyway, they sell a lot of like older stuff that has been discontinued, and the prices were pretty good. They're in Toronto, so you do have to pay shipping in the US, but I mean, if you order several bottles, it's worth it. Anyway, I will try to remember to link that website. I don't really think they have a social media presence, but I was happy with my purchase, got this from there, and the rosé one and several others that I'm going to talk about. Anyway, this one, I sort of vaguely remember what the original smells like. It's been a long time because my mom hasn't worn it in a long time, and I just haven't sought out to smell it again, but definitely sort of reminds me of that. It has a soapiness to it. So this is more of a soapy Iris edition. I would say there's a little bit of maybe like a tuberosy bubblegum sort of slight feel to this, and some fruitiness like a black currant. Yeah, that's kind of what I get. This is beautiful, a beautiful floral fragrance, like a clean, soapy, irisy floral fragrance. Maybe a little bit of patchouli in this one too, the tiniest bit, but nothing heavy. It's mostly florals. So this is really pretty. I did wear this one once already and it lasted a long time, and I could like smell it as I was taking a walk, and it was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance. So that one is Ysatis Iris, and if you haven't smelled it and you like Iris, I think this is a nice version of the original that kind of features that note a bit more, especially like the clean soapy kind. So that's a good one as well. And now we're going to jump back to the year I graduated high school, to 2002, to this cheapie. I saw this and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I got to try it, right? So this house I was unfamiliar with. This is Mabusin? I don't know how you say that. And the name of the fragrance is History d'Eau. So yeah, this is just straight up plastic, very cheap. Like this is cheap. I don't necessarily love the presentation, but I was intrigued by the presentation. And it was very inexpensive. So I was like, let's give it a try. This is discontinued. This one, oh, I forgot to tell you. Ysatis Iris was Dominique Ropian, you know, master perfumer there. And this one, another very famous perfumer, Christine Nagel. So, you know, even though it's a cheapie, it definitely was created by somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah, and so right away, this one has like a little bit of citrus in the opening. And I would say like some spice. But to me, this is like an ambery kind of fragrance. It smells not super heavy, but like an ambery, slightly musky kind of fragrance with that citrus, some spice. Maybe a touch of leather too. Like I get a light touch of leather in this for, I don't know what I paid, like 20-ish bucks. This is solid. I definitely need to give this a full wearing, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Is it my favorite fragrance? No, but that's not bad for a cheapie. Again, it's discontinued, so I'm not sure like how plentiful it is, but if you find it, it should be pretty inexpensive. So yeah, that's History de Eau. I don't know, whatever. That's this thing, this weird looking thing from Mabusin. No idea. Never heard of that before, but yeah, I don't hate it. All right, now for a very famous fragrance from Alberto Marias and Jacques Cavalier. This comes from Givenchy again, and it is Hot Couture. This is the Eau de Toilette, and I think that the Eau de Toilette is a little bit harder to find. It came out in 2000. This particular bottle, I believe, is quite a bit newer. I want to say it's from like the mid 2010s, like maybe I think it was maybe 2018 when I looked it up. Many people probably are familiar with this because it has had a moment on YouTube over the last couple of years. And it's nice, but listen guys, this is too sweet for me. I know people love this fragrance, but it is just too sweet for me. It's very much berries. It's like sugared berries with florals to me. I do think there's a touch of musk in here. Again, maybe has like a little bit of an amberiness. But yeah, it's very sugary berry floral in my opinion. Now, it does not smell like your typical fruity floral things that are out there now. So I'll give it that. It's unique and I don't hate it. But when I wore it, I'm going to try it again. I might like it. I sort of like it, but at the same time, when I wore it, I became nauseated. And I think it was either something else, and now I just associate that with this, or the sweetness just got to me after a while. There might be a little bit of like a citrusy vibe in here too, but if that were upped, maybe it would cut through that sweetness a bit. I'm not sure. It's real sweet. Anyway, that's Hot Couture. And again, you probably are fairly familiar with that, or maybe even have smelled it before. Yeah, not for me, I don't think, but I'm going to try it again because people freaking love this scent. So we'll give it a go. All right, let's do a couple 1999 releases. And the first up is from Jean Paul Gaultier, and this is Fragile. Fragile, must be Italian. Anyway, Francis Kurkdjian did this one, and it has like this little thing on the bottom where you open it up so you can spray it. So let me do that. And then you still have to turn it back upright though, because if you do it like this, it doesn't go to where the actual atomizer is. So anyway, let me spray this. I've noticed this is difficult to spray. Perhaps it was less so when it was new, but it's very old now. So right away, I will tell you this fragrance I can tell has aged a bit. The top, like the opening, if you've smelled several vintage fragrances before, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's like that kind of sharpness in the opening that's not what the original opening smelled like. And it's kind of, I think, because some of those top notes have, you know, died off, they've evaporated, whatever, they've broken down. They're more volatile, so those tend to be what goes first. However, when I sprayed this on my skin and just gave it a few minutes, it definitely kind of opened up and became what it probably originally was, or very close to it. And it already is doing that right away. So this is a tuberose fragrance in my opinion. That's what I get right away. And I would say secondary is jasmine. So tuberose and jasmine are the two notes that jump out to me in this fragrance. And I think there might be, I think there might be a ylang ylang in here. There's a slight touch of that, which I do like. I'm not huge always on tuberose and jasmine, although sometimes I really like them depending on the composition. But I do like ylang ylang, and that's in here. I think this is supposed to be like, you know, the orange blossom that a lot of the Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances are famous for. I think that's supposed to be kind of in here. I get that less so. I think there's some ginger in here. And maybe some spices of some sort. I can't pick it out particularly. And I'm not exactly sure what else. That's kind of what I'm getting. Maybe a slight woodiness. Maybe. But like I said, this composition of the bottle that I got secondhand has definitely broken down a bit, at least in the opening. As I left it on my skin, because I did wear this once, it definitely warmed up and became more enjoyable the longer it kind of sat on my skin. So I do think that, you know, the integrity overall is there in the dry down, but the opening is a little rough at this point. And I'm assuming it was not originally, but I didn't ever buy Fragile because it didn't interest me due to the note composition. And especially back then when it was released, that was not what I was into. So anyway, that one is, I think, who did this one? Oh yeah, I already told you. Francis Kurkdjian did this one in 1999. And then here is another 1999 release. If you did not know this, maybe you did because you've watched my videos, but I definitely used to really enjoy Armani fragrances in the early 2000s is when I mostly wore a lot of Armani from like maybe 2000 to 2006, 7. And this one is Mania, but it's not Armani Mania. It's just literally called Mania. This was kind of the original that came out before Armani Mania, which I also like. I wore that one for a long time as well. But yeah, this one I hadn't smelled in a really long time. I'm honestly not sure that I ever owned a bottle of it. I definitely remember smelling it, but I can't remember if I ever bought this one in particular. However, I found a bottle and I was like, let's give that a try. So, this one I think was Jacques Cavalier again, and it's like got a little bit of citrus in the opening. I would say I get some vanilla for sure, and it's like kind of woody. I pick up maybe some slight florals, like I would say maybe orange blossom in this one more than I pick up in the Fragile. Yeah, so overall I get some citrus, vanilla, woody notes, and orange blossom / maybe other florals. I could be wrong on that one. It's pretty nice. I would say this is a good spring kind of scent because it's not, you know, it's not like super light and airy, but it's not heavy either. It would be like a good transition fragrance. And that little bit of spice, I think, makes it kind of good for kind of when it's still a little bit cold, but not really cold. Yeah, so that's Mania. Let me know if you've worn this or any of them. Let me know if any of these are ones that, you know, are nostalgic for you that you used to wear. I know this is really pretty difficult to find now. But it's not bad. Not my favorite of the ones that I have here today. In fact, I think this next one will probably be my favorite because it's a very nostalgic fragrance for me. But Mania is decent. So I've been on the hunt for a bottle of Chloe Narcisse for a while. And again, found it at Enchanté Perfumes. The price wasn't too bad, although I think the price went up since I bought this. But the price wasn't too bad when I bought this compared to what a lot of people ask for online. And I am so stoked to have a bottle of this again. It's exactly what I remember, like exactly. It brought back instant memories. I was, I was young. So this came out in 92 and I couldn't find a perfumer for this one. It just says IFF. So it came out in 92. I want to say that when I was late elementary school age, like maybe 10, 11, 12, that would have been shortly after this was released. I had a tiny like mini bottle and I savored it. I don't know, I'm sure my mom probably got it as like a free gift with purchase or something because I would have lots of mini bottles. I had tons of mini bottles of perfume when I was a kid, mostly because my parents both were into fragrances, maybe more so than the average person, but not like how I am. But anyway, so my mom always got perfumes and things like that. And I assume that's where I got all these minis from. I don't really remember, but I assume she just gave me all the minis that came as like free gifts. So anyway, I like nursed this tiny bottle of Chloe Narcisse when I was a little kid, and it's beautiful. I love this. So this is supposed to have, of course, the narcissus flower, and it is floral. But there's also a lot of like beautiful juicy peach in here, maybe some like apricot-y kind of notes. I would say there are other florals too, not just the narcissus. Maybe some like other like white florals if it's not jasmine. I would say even something creamy. So maybe tuberose or gardenia is in here. There's definitely vanilla in this. And I would say musk and woods are in here, like a creamy, like a sandalwood probably, because it seems creamy overall in its composition. This is absolutely gorgeous. Is it of modern times? No, I don't think that this fits in with a lot of what's released nowadays. However, it's stunning. I just love this. Very much floral fragrance, which is weird because I'm not usually super into floral fragrances unless it's like iris or rose. Really love those. But this one is really fantastic. Probably I love it even more because of the nostalgia. However, if you, like me, smelled this when you were young and you miss it, it still smells the same to me. This particular bottle still smells what I remember. So, you know, if you get a good price, go for it if it's something that you miss, because I am stoked. Like I said, very pleased to have that back in my collection. So that is Chloe Narcisse, and again, do not understand why they discontinued this. It's fantastic. Okay, next is one from Balenciaga, and I'd never smelled this one before, so it was kind of a blind buy. However, it sounded pretty good. This is called Quadrille. I don't know how you say it. Quadrille. And I have the Eau de Toilette. The Parfum concentration of this goes for stupid high prices. But the Eau de Toilette I was able to get for, you know, a fair price. And I think this is just 1 ml. I don't know. It seems kind of small. Anyway, so let's go ahead and check this one out. I have not worn this yet. This one, we're jumping way back. So we went from 1992 to 1955. So from before my parents were even born. And yeah, this is really nice. Actually, shockingly, this doesn't smell like a lot of things that I think may have been released in the 1950s smelled like, or at least what my connotation or my sort of stereotype in my brain goes to when I think of like very much vintagey 1950 fragrances. So to me, this is a very spicy scent, like an ambery, spicy kind of fragrance. I think that there is cardamom in here. If I were to like get particular, this one does kind of stand out to me as perhaps being cardamom specifically, but there could be, that might be wrong, or there could be other spices as well. Little bit fruity, maybe peach in here again. I'm saying peach mostly because kind of smells like that, but also that was a pretty popular fruit to use back then, so it probably is correct. Yeah, so spicy amber, a little bit fruity, but I would say more on the spicy side. It is really pleasant. I don't think that I would pay the, you know, hundreds of dollars that people are asking for the Parfum concentration of this, but I'm happy to have this little guy in my collection. And I do think that even though it is very old, it does not seem dated like how a lot of like the very old vintage fragrances do. This one, to me, I think you could wear this nowadays. And I mean, you know, it's like, it doesn't smell like opium, but you know how like a lot of the spicy ambers have kind of stayed fairly, or maybe become more popular again. I think it's kind of in that line. So that one is Quadrille. I have no idea who the perfumer on this is, could not find it, but that is a 1955 release. And now for the last one, here we go. Been rambling for a while, but the last one is one lots of people know about. This is from Guerlain, and it is Mitsuko. So here's the box. I don't usually save packaging because I can't be bothered. But I probably will save this just because it is a special like limited edition set or packaging. So if you look here, it comes with a handkerchief. So that's what's there, and it's silk. It's 100% silk handkerchief that this came with. And here's the bottle of Mitsuko. So I was able to find out that this particular like limited edition box set thing, I think it was released in, gosh, I want to say it was 99. I think that this bottle that I have is from 1999. However, Mitsuko first came out in 1919, I believe. So definitely a much older bottle. However, this fragrance is still around. You can get it. This is the Eau de Toilette. That is my favorite of the two. Like if you're looking at the Eau de Parfum versus Eau de Toilette, I've never tried a pure Parfum concentration of Mitsuko. But this is very much your Chypre style fragrance. Like this is the like kind of the go-to when I think of Chypre. In my mind, this is what I, you know, like sort of hallucinate the smell of when I think of what a Chypre smells like. I wish that I had a current formulation bottle to compare this to, because I want to say, so I have smelled the current Eau de Toilette. I want to say this is slightly different. Definitely the oak moss, or, you know, sort of tree moss stands out in this. Spicy, amber, some, you know, or like a little bit of citrus, but also like some peach again that you normally would get in here. Florals, rose, I think. Lilac. Yeah, this is really nice. This is a classic. You probably don't need me to tell you what it smells like, because you probably, even if you have not worn it yourself, you probably smelled it on somebody. But I will say that this one, I do think the mossiness stands out, or is a little bit different from what I remember in the bottle that I used to have that was the more current formulation. I don't know how much it has changed from 99 to 2000, whatever it was, where it was most recently reformulated. But Definitely there are reformulations. Probably if you got like a really old bottle of this, it would be pretty amazing. But I'm very satisfied with this. I didn't have to pay a crazy high amount. In fact, I didn't really pay much more at all compared to just buying a current bottle. Like not even, like this was less than retail for a current bottle, but maybe slightly more than like you would get on, you know, a sort of gray market site, maybe slightly more, but not much more. So I think it was worth it. And again, the packaging is pretty cool. So I probably will save that. Also, just in case I decide to sell it at some point, obviously I would want to keep that. But I do think that's a cool addition. And I do like, I don't know if I didn't point this out earlier. I don't know if you noticed, the logo is very much the old style compared to what you see now, although the bottle has remained consistent. So anyway, that is the last one, and those are some of the vintage / discontinued fragrances that I've picked up lately. I would like to know if there are any that you really miss having in your collection that have been discontinued, or just ones that maybe you're curious about trying an older version of, even if it is still available, because I'm always curious about that. Like, how much has it changed, right? Like I said, the Mitsuko doesn't seem that different from what I remember, but I don't directly have a comparison right now to make for you. So anyway, God, I say anyway so much, guys. Don't do a drinking game where you take shots when I say anyway, because you will die. So that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do leave me comments. Let me know the fragrances that are, you know, ones you really miss that you wish would come back, like the Chloe one, or perhaps, you know, just some older versions of things, or the, I know a lot of people miss this one, the Narcisse. But just let me know, leave me a comment, and I will see you all very soon. Bye. P.S. Don't forget to like and subscribe.